understand what a female orgasm has to do with any of that, though. I mean, like,
What has to do with any of what? Creating adaptive society quite a bit.
yeah, I mean, if maybe you could expand on that a little bit. I don't get
Why
your
why
point.
should we adopt a adaptive? And what does adaptive mean? I guess is a real question because that seems to be your like end goal, right?
Yeah, my end goal is to try to learn from societies that have actually created situations where people more or less get along and have are able to function in society and are able to have reasonably satisfactory lives, in spite of the fact that, in many ways they had far less material good and in many ways lived harder lives than we did, and yet they lived better lives than we did. And I'm trying to figure out why that is and where we're going wrong here in this decadent stage of our existence.
So we're living a decadent lifestyle, but people that didn't have a decadent lifestyle had better lives than us.
Yes.
What's the metric for judging that?
Um, I would say that if people are generally satisfied and are mentally well put together rather than mentally ill, then that's a sign that they're doing better.
How are we judging that back through history and back through these tribes? How are we knowing that people are more mentally put together?
We have not perfect data, but we have pretty as good metrics as we have for judging how people are mentally, how well put together they are in our society. We can look at things like suicide rates.
Well, but they weren't taking those statistics back in those days. So I mean, how would we
The
even know?
ethnographers would go in and do like case histories. They would do like life histories of families, getting
So
families.
we're ad hoc going back and making these considerations based on today. So we don't actually know.
What? No, that's not what they were doing. They were saying people would go in and they would
We're
basically
post hoc making these considerations that people were somehow more happier, had less suicide rates, and all this stuff. Even though we don't actually have the data for
but we
these
do have
kind
the
of
data.
things.
We do have the data.
We do have the data, so there's these databases where we know that these Aboriginal tribes weren't committing suicide and all this kind of shit. We have
Yes.
these. Where's
Yeah.
this data at? Yeah.
You could look at for African tribes. You could look at Bohannon's article from the 1960s. I don't remember what it's
From
called
the
off the top of
from
my
the
head.
60s.
It was a comparative ethnography that was drawing on data from previous times.
I don't know. I mean, I don't believe this data exists to even start to make these conclusions. You'd have to convince me that this data somehow exists. But
All right, look up D/PLACE, D place, and it's a great website that only came around a few years ago, and it codes every single society in the standard cross-cultural sample of approximately 186 societies that are best documented within anthropology across like literally thousands of different metrics. So you can look and explore the data yourself, and it's completely free and it's easy to use. And you can see they have metrics related to suicide rates. They have metrics related to the level of quote unquote insanity, and you can see how it varies within societies.
yeah, I don't know how I'm drawing a hard line here. Bushwhacking. I don't. Your comment doesn't even actually make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I'm asking actual questions. How we know any of this stuff this dude's fucking talking about, and he's saying that somehow we have this data, like there is some kind of fucking archive of all this data of all these ancient tribes that he's fucking
There
talking
is,
about.
there is
Where's this data at, sir? Where is this
D
data? Like,
-PLACE.
come on, dude. Like, I mean, what are you even talking about? This data didn't exist till the '60s.
Yes, it did. It was compiled by a group called the Human Relations
Who was
Area File.
maintaining this data?
Who was maintaining this data? It was maintained in the Human Relations Area Files, which was a computer database.
Where is this human relation data file, sir? Where is this human relation data file, sir?
It was originally it was actually stored on actual disks.
Disk. Mainframe computers.
Now it's online. This is
So
I'm not exactly sure where this is going.
No,
it's
yeah, I'm not
like
exactly sure where this is going
the
either. Because
methodology.
you, it's like you don't understand what I'm even asking you. Like,
no, you're trying to I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to act like this data isn't real because
it's not real. It's not real data, sir. Because there's no actual compilation of this data that you're claiming exists.
But there is.
Where machine lies?
The problem is when there is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
This is invented data.
So
made by people like you that have anthropologist degrees, and they had to justify their fucking degree, so they made up fucking data that didn't exist.
You do understand that most of the best ethnographies were not written by anthropologists. Most of them were written by travelers and explorers. The primary sources that were used for the compilation of this data overwhelmingly came from people that were not professional anthropologists. Almost,
yeah. I don't
of the best ethnography. The overwhelming majority. I know you're going to give some non.
It's a computer file somewhere that has this. Maybe the crystal skulls have all this data in them somewhere.
This is going nowhere.
The ancients put all this data in the crystal skulls.
Let's
and somehow the guy that can't get laid knows where this data is. I don't know. So maybe that's where it's at. I don't know.
This is a very bad faith, poor form.
I'm just fucking with you, brother. Okay. No, but actually, I'm not fucking with you though, because I'm actually challenging what you're saying, because you're not saying anything at all. Really, is what I'm hearing right now. So, but go ahead, continue. Go ahead, I yield.
As I was saying before all that, if you look at societies that seem to be doing things right, they seem to follow certain patterns.
Which societies are those?
I named a bunch of them. I can name them again. I can talk about the Andaman Islanders. I can talk about the Tuareg nomads of the Sahara Desert. I can talk about the Pueblo Indians. I can talk about the Tarahumara Indians.
Yeah, they're super successful. Tell me how they're doing today. Oh yeah, they don't fucking exist.
They were ruined by Kali Yuga. Are you spilling for the
Kali Yuga? We're gonna bring in some other imaginary. We're gonna bring in some other imaginary concept to justify. You're no different than.
Are you saying that because the current system has triumphed? That means
let's appeal to the Phoenix
protocol. Do you think
protocol.
The current system is superior because it's triumphed? Do you think the
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm asking you to justify your claims. I'm asking you to justify your claims. I'm not even making claims.
Yeah, I consider that it's a justification to say that this is a society. These are societies that did a better job of meeting the needs of their members, and just because they got crushed by demonic Kali Yuga evil, like every other society that's existed has been crushed by demonic Kali Yuga evil, doesn't distract from that.
So we're just gonna pull some kind of like perennial fucking philosophy, and we're just gonna tie in whatever ideals from all these other different things. It's Kali Yuga, bro. It's Kali Yuga, bro. Justify Kali Yuga to me, then.
Justify the idea that we're living in the worst possible time. Do you deny that?
It seems pretty fucking good to me. I don't know. I'm doing all right. So yeah, you justify it to me, then.
We are living in a time where
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Doesn't seem that bad to me.
You're doing all right. You're living a life of quiet.
I think I'm doing all right. Justify why I'm not doing all right, then, sir.
None of us are doing all right. We've been
none of us are doing all right.
And a machine of absolute evil that we're dependent on, and that's taking away our individuality. And
I'm being pretty fucking individual right now. I'm being EB motherfucking T right now. I'm being very individual right now, sir. Okay. Tell me how I'm not being individual right now.
Perhaps you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps you are. In spite of the
individual right here,
possible,
right now.
Possible. I don't know. I don't claim to know everything about you. But the machine itself
Shut the
The machine itself, you are part of this. We're all part of this machine, and this machine is sucking the lifeblood out of us. It's destroying humanity before our very eyes. You deny all this?
I want to ask two.
Am I on fucking Paul enslaved right now? Where am I right now? Like, I don't even know where I'm at right now.
Can I ask,
yield. I yield.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Mm-hmm.
First, what is the Kali Yuga? Second, you said, and I want to bring in Machine Lies on this as well. You said before
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord.
You said before that Islam takes better account of what you're talking about than we do in the West, and so I wanted you to kind of get into that a little bit with Machine Lies as well.
Okay. Well, I can answer the first question about the Kali Yuga now. Kali Yuga is an ancient concept that comes out of Hindu philosophy that essentially time flows in a cyclical manner, and that currently we're at the bottom, the ass end of the cycle, which is called the Kali Yuga, which is
those
the time.
people shit in the streets, sir. The Hindu
Cool story,
people
bro.
shit in the streets.
Cool story.
believe
I
they're
understand.
human
I
beings.
understand they're
So,
not.
I mean, like,
not
why
good
the fuck?
white Aryan
Why
Jews like you.
I
I understand
their
they're different. I understand there's different cultures, and you don't like the other cultures. The concept, this ancient concept, it states that essentially there's 4 yugas, and I'm not like taking this too literally. I'm not a Hindu, but like
they shit in the
4
street.
yugas, and that right now we're in the yuga, or the stage, the eon of existence that's ruled by a demon named Kali, and that we're going to continue in this demonically ruled.
Do you know about 2040, bro? Do you know about the
until
Phoenix
finally
cycle, bro?
Shiva,
Do
the
you even know
destroyer,
about the
comes in and
Phoenix
destroys
device?
the
You don't even know
universe,
about
and
You
then
don't even know about the
the
Phoenix
cycle
device.
begins again.
Oh, Pope of the Future here. I think Pope of the Future is Slow Boy Whiteboard. I might be wrong on that, but a shout out to my future potential wife from Indiana. You're awesome. Except you never make any. You never clip me, unfortunately. I mean that's kind of weird. You never do any clips of me, but you do clips of Toilet Bowl Earth, and I mean, like, who even likes Toilet Bowl Earth around here? I don't know, but I mean, is it just because he's an ortho bro you can clip him? I don't know. That's fucking weird to me. Anyway, the link is pinned if you guys want to fucking join.